Hello, and welcome to this course about taking control of your money and your future. Do you ever ask yourself, what should I do with my money? Should I save it or pay off debt or invest it? Do you ever look at your bank account and just wonder, where did all my money go? Or look at your savings and think, how am I ever going to buy a home or retire someday? If you said yes to even one of these questions, then this is the course for you. My name is Tiffany, and I'm a financial coach, and I love to talk about money. I love to educate people around money, and I love to help people take control of their finances so they can reach their goals. Managing your money is actually a skill. It's something we need to be taught. And unfortunately, we often don't learn simple money management skills in the school or at home. And if you're like me, you see more of what not to do than what to do in the home. To help you gain more control and confidence around your money, I've created this course so you can walk away with 3 big things, though hopefully a lot more, but at least these 3. First, a clear view of your current financial situation. You gotta know where you're starting from to create a plan for where you're going. Second, a clear framework for how to think about your money and how to prioritize your different financial goals. I call these your financial priority steps. These are 6 steps that I'll walk you through. So you have a clear roadmap for how to manage your money, pay off debt, and save for whatever you want in life. And finally, third, a new sense of confidence and empowerment that you can control your money and that you can create the financial security and future you want. So let's get started and let's talk money. So, you already know I love to talk about money, but how did I end up here? With you, teaching a course about how to manage your money? First, I didn't start out in finance. I'm actually a mechanical engineer, turned energy consultant, turned financial coach. Given my unique background and current profession as a financial coach, I often get asked, so how did I get here? Well, it wasn't a straight line or part of some grand plan. I grew up in LA and got my mechanical engineering degree at UCLA. Since I ultimately wanted to teach, I decided to pursue my PhD in mechanical engineering. So I flew across the country to Boston to get my PhD at MIT. From there, I worked for an energy consulting company for 10 years. While I've always had a job since I was 15, I was so happy to see my first, grown-up paycheck and start my 401k, and I felt like I just made it. I had a career. I was making money. I had my own office, done and done. But no, about 6 to 7 years in, I was working with a life coach, as us California people do. And I realized that I really love talking about money. I've always talked about money, even as a kid. I'm that friend or family member who's always, being inappropriate and asking you about your money, what you make, and the cost of this or that. And during the Great Recession of 2008 to 10, I really noticed the pain that so many people, including my friends and family, went through. They learned really tough lessons that still impact them today. I saw firsthand, over and over again, what good and poor money management skills did to everyday people, what choices it gave them, and what choices it took away. So with a lot of planning and nerves, I decided to quit my stable paycheck job and become a self-employed financial coach. This was a huge change for me since I really loved and found security with a stable paycheck. But here I am over 6 years later, now speaking to you about something I love to talk about: money. It's my goal now to give you the skills you need to understand, manage, and control your money so it becomes something you love to talk about also. So before we jump in, I wanted to take a brief moment to acknowledge all the misconceptions that we have about money. These could come from our family, our friends, our culture, and sometimes just from the things we hear in the world. While these can be true or useful ideas, maybe 1% of the time, they're usually not the best path forward or have more risk than maybe even you realize. Here are some money misconceptions you might have heard. Owning a home is always better than renting. Or putting all your bills and spending on a credit card so you can get the most points possible and travel for free. Another one I hear a lot from 30 to 40-year-olds is that they are just so behind because they don't own a home yet. Or money. Sitting in a savings and not invested is a waste. These are just a few examples of money misconceptions, but there are so many more. Don't get sucked into these. Don't judge yourself or your money by these misguided and often wrong ideas. Yes, there is a time to borrow money, a time to buy a home and invest. And yes, credit card points can help you travel for free. But knowing when to do these things and how to use these different financial options is really the key. So we're going to lay out the foundation and framework for what it means to have financial security and reach your life goals. Both can be done, but it first starts with you and your current money story. Let's be honest, money is more than just numbers. For most of us, it's very emotional and very personal. It means whether you can pay rent or buy food, help your parents, or even retire someday. Knowing your attitude and behavior around money is so important since these ideas and feelings shape the lens through which you view and handle your money. Given this, one of the most important first steps in starting your financial journey is taking the time to understand your money story. This is the story and the views you have about money. This defines your current relationship with money, what you're saying about money, how you use it, and how it makes you feel. What's the story that plays over and over again in your head? For example, for me, money has always equaled security and choice. I needed to feel safe, and a big part of that is having choices. As a little kid, I grew up pretty upper, middle class, really wanting for nothing. My dad was a serial entrepreneur, and when I was growing up, he and my mom owned a successful office supply store. Think of a type of staples before big box stores existed. And in the early 1990s, there was a recession, and while my parents fought hard, they eventually lost their store. My dad spent all our savings trying to start again with new ideas, but nothing really worked out. A few years later, we were scraping by, my parents got divorced, and our home was taken by the bank. And this all happened in my early teenage years. I quickly saw what not having money looked like and what choices were taken away. This experience, and many more, shaped my story about money and what it means to me, for the good and for the bad. This experience and many more shaped my story about money and what it means to me, for the good and for the bad. It impacted how I spend, how I save, and how I make decisions. It's impacted where I live, the jobs I take, and my relationships. While for the most part, this story has served me well, it has created challenges. It has made me more risk-averse than I need to be at times, more controlling of money, and even less trustful. These are things I need to watch out for so my money story doesn't get in my way of my goals or present false truths. So for our first activity, let's take the time to map out your money story. Since your thoughts and emotions drive your behavior around money, it's important to get clear on who's really steering the wheel. As we previously discussed, your money story is key to understanding your current relationship with money. For this exercise, you will want something to write or type with. Here is some guidance on how to start thinking about your money story. Step 1. Write out all your common money beliefs. Things such as, I'm a spender, I'll never get out of debt, or I need to earn more. Also, what are those phrases of stories that keep replaying in your mind? Write those out as well. Write those out as well. Step 2. Looking back on your life, what situations or people influenced how you think and manage money? You should be able to write a type of money biography of your life with 3 to 5 specific examples that have impacted your views around money. Step 3. What themes keep re-emerging? Is there a story you're starting to see? Take 5 to 10 minutes now to write down your money story. Just pause the video for as much time as you need. Now that you're back, what did you learn about yourself and your money story? Is that story still serving you? Maybe in some ways it is, and in some ways it's not. If your money story needs to be changed, here are some ideas for how to change it. First, ask yourself, is my money belief 100% always true? Sometimes we hold on to our beliefs as absolute truths that we feel can't be changed. So to dispel some of your money beliefs, find at least 3 examples that prove your money story or belief wrong. This will help show you that these beliefs are not always 100% true facts. There is some gray. Second, remember that your self-worth is not defined by your net worth. If you have debt or you don't have as much money saved as you would have liked, take some time to understand. Now what happened? Then focus on creating a plan to get out of debt or save more. Taking action will help you change this part of your story. And third, create a new story. Sometimes you just need to fake it till you make it. As you create a new money story, start to find examples that prove this new story true. Follow people on social media who align with this new story. This will help show you that your new story can be your future. Then start to align your money with these new ideas. To help you continue to explore your money story, I've included a few online and book resources that you can find in the resources folder. It's definitely worth checking those out. Remember, understanding and redefining your money story is key to your success. So keep this in mind as you continue to learn from this course. Before we get started, I want to be upfront and honest with you. There are just no shortcuts to creating the life you want. We're not going to talk about any get-rich-quick schemes. My family has so many stories of different get-rich schemes, from pyramid schemes to currency revaluation. Schemes to investors in Hong Kong schemes. And you know what? No one is retired with money in the bank or traveling the world first class. Nope. Instead, they are all still working. None of these schemes have worked. Or at least haven't worked yet, as they would say. So because of this, getting your financial house in order will take work. And remember, money is finite. No matter how much you make, you still need to decide what to spend and what to save. Because of this, it's important to have a clear view of your why. Why am I saving or spending? Why am I working? Why am I paying attention to my money? For example, I have many whys, and they mainly center around wanting to feel financially secure. Here is my money story coming out again. A big why for me is that I save and focus on my money because I never want to feel trapped in a situation where I don't have enough money to get out. Not a relationship, not a job, not a home. Again, that feeling of financial security and choice is core to me. So what's your why? To help you think about this, here are some questions you can ask yourself. What are your values? What is most important to you and your family? How would you prioritize these values? What big dreams and goals do you have? So take a minute and really think about it. Write it down. Really describe it. Add in how it would make you feel to reach your goals. This why is your driving force. This is the reason you might say no to that big vacation or expensive car. This will help you stay focused on your goals and your dreams. Now that you have a clear picture of your why, it's time to set some clear goals. The best goals are what we call SMART goals. This stands for specific. What will I specifically achieve? Measurable. What's my specific target, and how will I know when I've reached it? Is my goal achievable? Can I really achieve it? Do I have the tools to achieve this, or can I get them? Relevant. Is this something that I really want? Does it align with my why? And finally, time-bound. When will I reach this goal? What is my timeline? Remember, as author Katherine Patterson said, a dream without a plan is just a wish. Don't let your goals really just be wishes. So for this exercise, let's use your whys to create some goals. Start by listing out 3 to 5 goals you have, and then turn them into SMART goals. You can write these out or use a template I provided in the resource folder. Here are some things to consider when setting your goals. First, for big goals, break them down into smaller, achievable, SMART goals with their own timeline and measurable metrics. Second, ask yourself if you may need additional resources to help you achieve your goal, or more education or tools. And third, think about sharing your progress with someone. It's helpful to have someone that will motivate you and support you. Also remember that goals and priorities can change. Goals aren't something that you want to set and forget. You need to look at them, revise them as your situation changes. So don't feel like you need to be locked into anything. So now that you have a clear view of your whys and your SMART goals outlined, it's time to put your money to work towards achieving them. Now that you have your why and goals clearly laid out, it's time to talk about how you're going to make them happen. Creating financial wellness and wealth just doesn't happen by accident. There are plenty of examples of people who make a lot of money or got a lot of money through selling a company, or through their parents, Bitcoin, or even the lottery, who still lost it all. Having money does not equal being smart with your money. And just because you have money now doesn't mean you'll have it forever. You still need the skills and behavior and tools to keep it. I have clients, friends, and family who make a great income and still live paycheck to paycheck. In fact, over 70% of Americans today, regardless of their income, live paycheck to paycheck. This has become such a problem that these same people cannot afford an unexpected $500 bill without using a credit card. Maybe that's you or a friend or a family member. And this is nothing to be ashamed of, but it is something that you can change. Living paycheck to paycheck is stressful and often leads to even more debt. But you, or anyone with the right tools and motivation, can break this cycle. Remember, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. So let's talk about the tools you need to keep and grow your money. In this section, you're going to learn 6 clear and simple steps to financial wellness and security. I like to call this your financial priority list. No more wondering, what do I do first? Should I save or pay off my debt? How can I go on vacation and still save for my future? During this section, I will clearly outline your financial priority list and explain why the order is so important. In the remainder of the course, we'll revisit these steps in greater detail, exploring how to best tackle them one at a time. To get started, we'll revisit these steps in greater detail, exploring how to best tackle them one at a time. To get started, here's your financial priority list. Step 1. Get clear and organized about your income and expenses. You need to shine a bright light on your accounts and see where your money is going each month. Getting clear on your monthly income and expenses is critical to starting this process and to creating a new plan. Step 2. Saving 1 to 3 months worth of bills. This is the start of your emergency fund. This is the first line of defense from going into debt should an unexpected bill or loss of income arise. Step 3. Paying off all high-interest debt. This includes debts such as credit cards, payday loans, IRS debt, and often personal loans. It's important to first focus on paying off debts that are costing you more in the long run. Once you have your 1 to 3 month emergency fund and your high interest that paid off, then you can move on to step 4, which is boosting your emergency fund by now saving at least 6 months worth of bills. This is your fully funded emergency fund. This should cover you for a job loss or other income gaps that might come up, from getting sick to helping out your family or needing to move. Once you have a fully funded emergency fund, then you can move on to step 5, which is saving for retirement. Remember, you need to take care of your current self before you can focus on your future self. So when you're done building your emergency fund and paying off your high interest debt, you can start saving for your future. Then lastly, step 6, pay off low-interest debt and save for larger goals. This includes debts from student loans, your car, and a home. This is also the time to start saving for your larger goals, like buying a home or taking a big trip. Now that we have this framework of the 6 steps, let's spend the following lectures talking through each step's importance and the framework for how you achieve them. Before you can decide how much to save or pay off in debt each month, you first need to get all your income, bills, and expenses organized. This is step 1 in your financial priority list. I often find that people try to save or pay off debt each month without really knowing an amount that actually fits into their budget. They're really just winging it or coming up with an amount they think will work. This is often not the best approach and can lead to debt cycling, where you pay off some debt, feel good about it, then need to use your credit card again and feel defeated. Or it creates a constant inflow and outflow of money from your savings account, which never feels good. So instead, we're first going to get your finances organized, and then we'll see what you can realistically put towards your goals and the remaining steps of your financial priority list each month. So remember, step 1 is getting clear and organized. We'll go more into how you actually do this in a later section. To accomplish your goals of saving and paying off debt, we're going to need something I call working capital each month. So let me define what that is. Each month you get paid and use your income to pay your monthly bills, debts, and expenses. However, you need to have some money each month that you don't consume in your daily life or on other expenses throughout the year, like vacations, holidays, or gifts. It's this leftover or set aside money each month that I like to call your working capital. It's your working capital that's used to achieve your financial goals on your financial priority list, such as building up your emergency fund, paying more towards debt, saving for retirement, or to purchase a home. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, you don't have any working capital. All of your money each month goes to paying for your daily life and debts, with nothing left over to save or use to reach your goals. So instead, you want to design your monthly budget to maximize your working capital each month. This is how you reach your goals quickly. We'll go into much greater details on just how to do this in a later section. But to start, just know that your working capital is what you're going to use to get you through steps 2 through 6 on your financial priority list. So now that you have your income and bills organized and you understand working capital, let's dive into step 2 on your financial priority list. For step 2, you're going to use your working capital to first make sure you have at least 1 to 3 months of your monthly bills and expenses saved. This savings will help you pay for unexpected life events and expenses, which you know happen. These are things like a parking ticket or a broken window, or maybe an unexpected dental bill or pet cost. When you don't have money set aside for these types of things, they end up on a credit card. And wouldn't you rather borrow your own money at 0% interest than be borrowing from Visa or MasterCard at 20%? Now, saving 1 to 3 months worth of bills can be a big range. So what should you do? If you're employed and have steady income, then you can consider your initial savings goal to be 1 to 2 months worth of bills. However, you should save up to 3 months worth of bills if 1, you don't feel secure about your job. However, you should save up to 3 months worth of bills if 1, you don't feel secure about your job. 2, you have income that varies month to month. Or 3, you work for yourself. Keep in mind that this savings goal can change over time as your bills change. So remember to revisit this number if your monthly bills increase from things like taking on more rent, or getting a pet, or expanding your family. Now you might be thinking, but hold on, I have credit card debt that I need to pay off first. And that's costing me a lot of money and interest, which I totally understand. However, paying extra on your debt is just not your first goal. And here's why. If you don't have much saved, and you first focus on paying down your debt, then when an unexpected expense happens, as it often does, it'll end up right back on that credit card. This will keep you in this debt cycle of paying off debt, feeling like you've made progress, and then having to add to your debt and feeling bad again. So while you definitely want to get to step 3 quickly and start paying down your debt, it's best for your overall financial health to just take a pause and continue to pay your minimum debt payments until you have that 1 to 3 months worth of bills saved. In terms of where to save your emergency fund, we'll dive into that in greater detail in a later section. So for now, look over your savings and ask yourself, is this step completed? Or is this where you're starting from? Remember, once you have completed this step and have 1 to 3 months of bills saved, you can move on to focusing your working capital to step 3, which is paying off your high-interest debt. Now that you have 1 to 3 months of bills saved, it's time to move on to step 3 of your financial priority list, paying down your high-interest debt. Remember, you're only on this step if you first save your 1 to 3 months worth of bills. It's important to have this first layer of savings before you start to put your extra money towards paying down your debt. This is the key to staying out of debt long-term. When it comes to debt, you should always continue to pay your minimum debt payments, no matter what step of the financial priority list you're on. These are due each month, like a bill, and need to be paid so that you don't incur a late fee or negatively impact your credit score. What we're talking about is an extra payment on top of the minimum amount you already owe. It's this extra payment that lowers your overall debt balance. So how do we do this quickly and efficiently? To pay off debt quickly, it's important to put 100% of your working capital towards only one debt at a time. Money and behavior go hand in hand. And since finances are really about 80% behavior, even seeing one of your balances decrease quickly will help you stay motivated and keep you on track. And staying motivated is essential to paying off your debt. Since not all debt is created equal, this step focuses on your most costly, high-interest debts first. These are usually payday loans, credit card debt, IRS debt, and personal loans, which often have an interest rate of over 10%. Wondering which debt to start with? Since there are different strategies for paying off debt, we'll dive into that in greater detail later in the course. For now, just remember, from a high level you continue to stay on this step until your high interest debt is paid off. For those of you with higher debt balances, this could take several months or even years. Just remember, you didn't get into debt overnight, so don't expect to snap your fingers and be out of debt overnight. But every step you make to paying off your debt is a huge step forward to becoming debt-free. Once your high-interest debt is paid off, it's time for financial priorities. Step number 4, building your emergency savings to cover at least 6 months worth of bills. This is the ultimate emergency fund. Should you lose your job, get hurt and can't work, or for whatever reason you need to leave your job or move, a loss of income can cause you to quickly build up credit card debt, often at over 20% interest. And while you can go into debt quickly, it takes so much longer to get out of it. But when you have 6 months of bills saved, you can borrow from yourself at 0% interest until you find a new source of income. It's also the best money security blanket you can have for not going back into debt. Your 6-month target is going to be a high number, and it should be. I mean, it's half a year of supporting your life. That's rent, utilities, childcare, transportation, food, and whatever else you need to pay to support yourself and your family. So don't let this high savings goal scare you or deter you. But still, how will you reach this goal quickly? Remember, once your high interest debt is paid off, and you don't have to make those minimum payments, you should see a boost in the amount of working capital you have each month. Or did you think all that money you were paying towards debt each month was now going to get eaten up by more bills and lifestyle spending? No, that's not happening. No, that's not happening. Remember, while you were paying off debt, that money wasn't adding to your daily life anyways. It was paying for your old life, old bills, or your old experiences. So there's no reason to start living on that money now. So for example, if you were paying $500 a month in minimum high-interest debt payments, which are now paid off, that means your working capital just increased by $500 a month. This will make boosting your savings to reach your 6-month target that much easier and faster. When you're on this step, stay focused and continue to set clear savings goals each paycheck or month. Before you know it, you'll have 30,000 saved. And just imagine what that would feel like. And no, really, take a second and imagine how it would feel to have $20, 30,000 in the bank saved. What sense of peace and freedom would you have if your debt was paid off and you had 20,000 saved in the bank? That feeling and reality is what you are working for. So stay intentional and stay focused. Starting to save for retirement is an exciting step. It's saving for the time you don't have to work and your time is your own. By the time you get to this step, think about all that you would have accomplished. You'll have paid off all your high-interest debt and saved 6 months worth of bills, creating a huge financial security blanket for yourself. But now is not the time to rest or stop focusing on securing the life you want. So while your current self is protected for life's uncertainties, now is the time to shift your focus to protecting and securing your future self. We all need a retirement plan. We all need a plan for when we don't want to or can't work anymore. Relying on others or the government can result in a retirement life you would just never want. And let me tell you, it's one of the most heartbreaking things to work your whole life, struggle, and give in so many ways, and then not be able to live the retirement life you want. One of the biggest things I want you to take away from this course is, retirement is not an age, it's a number. And let me repeat that one more time. Retirement is not an age, it's a number. We often think about the time we'll stop working as an age. Like, when I'm 60 or 65, I'll retire. However, when you get to retire is really a financial number. It's a dollar amount. It's when you have enough money saved or have enough passive income to pay for your monthly expenses without working. And this can happen at any age, but it won't happen by accident. You need a clear plan and clear steps for how to achieve this, but it is 100% possible. While dreaming of the day you don't have to work can and should be very exciting. I just want to remind you that saving for retirement is step 5 on your financial priority list for a reason. If you focus on your retirement savings before your high-interest debt is paid off, or before you have 6 months' worth of bills saved, then you may find yourself needing to withdraw from your retirement accounts if an emergency happens. This early withdrawal often comes with tax consequences and steep penalties. I've seen this happen over and over again, and it never feels good. So remember to start this step once your 6 months' worth of bills are first saved. I'm not gonna lie or pretend. Your goal retirement savings amount is often a big number and a big target to hit. Remember, this is savings that you will draw on for potentially 20 to 40 years. Of course, it's going to be a big number, but with planning and focus and replanning, it's something that anyone at any income can do. We'll dive into more detail about how to figure out your retirement savings target, how much to save monthly to reach this goal, and the types of retirement accounts available in a future section of this course. Here we are, finally talking about the last step. Financial priority step number 6 is really the dream step. Here we are, finally talking about the last step. Financial priority step number 6 is really the dream step. This is where you can feel amazing that you and your family are financially secure today and in the future. So now it's time to dream of even bigger things. This could include paying off your lower interest debt, like student loans or your home. It also includes saving for larger life events and wants, like buying a home, taking a dream vacation, a wedding, or starting a business. It's time to think big. Step 6 is a fun and exciting step to be on. How you prioritize your dreams, and this step depends on your goals and timeline. We'll talk about where to save for these big goals in a bit. So for now, dream big and congratulate yourself on how far you've come. In summary, here are your 6 financial priority steps. Again, remember step 1, get your income, bills, and expenses clear and organized. Step 2, save 1 to 3 months worth of bills. Step 3, pay off all your high-interest debt. Step 4, boost your emergency savings to cover 6 months worth of bills. Step 5, focus on saving for your future self in retirement. Once your future self is also secure, move on to step 6, paying off your lower interest debt and saving for bigger goals. To help you implement these steps, the remainder of the course will focus on teaching you effective tips and strategies for how you can build your emergency fund, pay off debt, and plan and save for retirement. So let's dive in.